Growing up, I drank the KoolAid of my parents' and community's beliefs. I made that belief system more important than my own needs and happiness. Looking back, I can't fault anyone for that, not even quote-unquote God. I now have clarity in decisions and choices I make. I'm fully engaged in finding joy in my life, in my own way, without the influence and construct of others. This is an uplifting discussion from there to now. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited about today. So is my guest, Alan. This is his very first podcast.
Yes.
And I'm actually really surprised by this because you are a wealth of knowledge and quite an expert in your field. You are a Neuro-Linguistic programming instructor, master practitioner. What are your other titles?
Master trainer in Neuro-Linguistic programming and then trainer of hypnosis and Timeline Therapy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to train in a lot of that.
Yes.
I'm technically considered a master practitioner.
Yes.
Although I do need to practice more so that I can master it even better. But you have been an incredible instructor. And I've taken, I think, 3 rounds of courses from you, which were a week long, right?
4 week-long courses. Yeah.
And it was a while ago. 2 years ago? 3 years ago.
Gosh, now you put me on the spot. Yeah,
it's okay.
3 years.
It's really irrelevant at the end of the day.
Not
anyhow.
Really. That just tells me you need a lot more practice.
I do. We've talked about this. But while I was taking these classes from you too, I have had particular experiences on an energetic level that I've talked to you about. And so we've really kind of dived deep into some of that. And a lot of it is magic. And we've had conversations about magic. And then in one of our classes, you mentioned a book, Real Magic. And it's a really beautiful scientific approach to magic and how it actually is real and exists. And for some reason, when I say the word science, everyone goes, oh, I believe in it now, which I find is really funny and fascinating too, because as he points out in here, a lot of the scientific research, if it has a particular aim or purpose or meaning in it, then that's what they actually accomplish per se.
Right. Or at least studies are starting to show there's a consistency or a predictability to it, which is fascinating.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about neuro-linguistic programming before we get into magic.
A little bit about neuro-linguistic programming, to a basic, is a model of communication. It's a way that we can form a deeper connection when communicating with people or groups of people. So, and the model theory is that it's based on its usefulness, not truthfulness. So if we can be useful in creating that deeper connection with people, why wouldn't we want to begin to do that? Right.
And that deeper connection is uncovering the unconscious mind or being more conscious of the unconscious?
You bring up a good point. It's a combination, right? Oftentimes we create this illusion of a separation of our conscious and unconscious. And it's forming a connection, recognizing that what we're doing consciously is, in fact, influenced unconsciously by how we perceive things. And we can program our perceptions to be aware consciously.
Right. And we could program other people's unconscious also.
We could facilitate if they wanted to.
Right.
And then
we are trained to
interfere if they didn't want to. But it's based on their will and desire, which is where magic kind of comes into play.
Right. And I like to call neuro-linguistic programming Jedi mind tricks.
Very Jedi mind trick.
I love it because I want Yoda as my master. And
kind of makes you wonder if Yoda wasn't the very first.
I think he was.
NLP trained.
Completely.
Character.
Right? Because basically he's limitless and boundless. And those are the things that we're really aiming to help ourselves and those around us to achieve.
Absolutely. Sure. Everyone's got wishes, desires. We could even say wants and needs. The question is, how do they utilize, or how can we utilize our minds to achieve that? And that's where modern day magic starts to play.
Okay, so we're segueing into modern day magic, but there was magic a long time ago before what is now that we're exploring and what's explored in this book? Because we were talking about even what's on your bookshelf and some of the books that were published back in the 1800s and the 1700s, some that are probably not in publication, but existed at one point too, that taught about magic. And one form is through alchemy, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Magic would be a form of alchemy.
Yes. And so what were some of the practices way back then when it came to magic that were successful?
Gosh. Anything that was practiced that led to a specific outcome prior to a definition of an action was considered magical or mystical. It didn't make sense to a conscious scientific mind. So they wanted to explore it. The further we've explored, the further we've defined it. So magic, while it's existed the whole time, it's been wildly distorted to create even more mystery around it. And yet it's something that's practiced every day, even if we're not aware that we're doing it.
We're told it's not tangible, but in reality, it's 100% tangible.
100%.
We are all capable of it. And when we're talking about what is the intention of this podcast, it literally is to say magic actually fucking exists. Because
oh, hell yeah.
And when
absolutely.
I bring it up, people are like, oh, you mean like what you see in the shows or like what you see on Harry Potter or like these magic tricks that you go to like at some of these shows on the Strip in Vegas. And I said, no, we can consciously on a daily basis employ magic in our lives. And there's so many various forms of it, and we're all capable of it.
Well, and it's fascinating. The two main ingredients to be aware, if we're going to say, yeah, we all practicing it, and recognizing that the initial stages of practicing it is knowing that I can set an intention. What do I want, right? What do I wish for? And then putting my attention on that. When we take that intention and we put it into the unconscious mind, our neurological systems are actually designed to seek out. So it draws attention to those things that we intend to experience.
Right.
That could be in multiple ways, but we're doing it all the time.
Right. So you're consciously creating. You told a story one time in our class, and then I had a friend bring this up too. It's when something's in your awareness, you see it all the time. And you were shopping. I'm going to call it hunting because you were.
I was hunting for a vehicle.
He was hunting for a very specific vehicle.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you were seeing them everywhere, every day.
I was getting ready to update my vehicle, my truck. I have a Chevy truck, 2500 diesel. And I wanted to upgrade. 2007, I was ready to say, okay, let's get a new one. And as soon as I put it into my mind, I was seeing that truck in the exact same color, shape, form that I wanted to experience. And I saw that driving around everywhere. Now, I'm not saying it was the same truck, but I saw the vehicle. And so at some point, I didn't take an action on making that my vehicle because at some point there was hesitation in me. So I wasn't completely ready, but the opportunity presented itself. So while we say magic is being real, it presents the opportunity. It is up to us to do something about bringing that into fruition in our own lives, right? That's the way I would look at it for me.
Right. And there's so many different tools and techniques in employing that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really exciting and fun to explore. And this book really breaks it down into simple words. I'm going to hold it up.
Yeah, Real Magic.
Real Magic.
Great book. Yeah, and they did. They brought it into a lot of practices of magic, which I believe makes it a little bit more challenging. And people often get turned off that, oh, I got to go practice, got to do these things. And yet we're practicing it all the time. It's becoming aware of the magic we already have. Like if people are employing their own magic and recognizing that those opportunities I'm bringing into my awareness are a form of that material creative force.
Right.
I've brought it into my awareness. What do I do with it? The outcome of those experiences isn't so much the magic. The magic is that I've brought the opportunity. I've created an opportunity in front of me. Now it's up to me. I want to do it.
I love that. I like to call manifesting magic making. And I find honestly, a year and a half ago, I was doing this so unconsciously, I wasn't even 100% aware. I laid in bed one night and I daydreamed about a house that I would really like to have.
Oh, there you go.
I daydreamed that I needed to have a laundry room with a doggy door for Petunia, my pig.
That's perfect.
So she could have her own space and then come and go from the house, because I like to have a clean house. I don't want her little dirty nose touching everything. And then I also envisioned a room for my daughter and what that would look like, and her having her own bathroom, and then a big space for her and her friends to hang out, and ultimately a pool. And I wanted it to be in a particular vicinity, so I was still near all the red rocks and the red mountain and Pine Valley Mountain. And I was just daydreaming one night, and then I literally just sealed it up, bundled it up, and then just cast it aside out of my awareness and carried on. And literally 2 months later, I get on my computer to send an email at 6 o'clock in the evening one evening, and I never get on my computer to work. And I heard clearly when I opened my computer, there's a house for rent with a pool on Facebook Marketplace. And I thought to myself, what? They put houses for rent on Facebook Marketplace? And I don't have Facebook on my phone. So I go on there and I search house for rent with pool. And it's literally blocks away from my daughter's high school, in the same neighborhood that all of her friends are in. And I am so resistant at this point, but I just hit this button that says, is it still available? And she messages me back immediately. She goes, we're showing it this evening. When do you want to come and see it? And I was like, wait, oh my God, when do I want to see it? Do I want to see it? I don't even know what the fuck's happening right now. And
fascinating.
And then she said they're available at 7. I'm like, hey, Olivia, you want to go see a house at 7? Yeah. So we go, and I'm like, don't get excited about this. We're just looking. So we're just going to look at this house. Okay. So don't really get excited about it. And we walked through the house and everything. And they apparently loved us. They had shown it to several other families, and it was just that evening that they were showing it. So then they kept on messaging me. Are you going to send an application? Are you going to do this? La, 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 la. It allowed pets, but I know everyone has this really weird resistance to pigs. And so
they misunderstood.
Right. So I filled out an application. I said, I have pet Petunia. The owner calls me and goes, who's pet Petunia? I'm like, a potbelly pig that's 200 pounds. And he's like, oh my God, our daughter has a pig too. And we totally know everything about pigs. And I moved into this house. Everything so synchronistically fell into place. And I had unconsciously manifested this house. But you know, one thing that I missed out on the detail on, and it's so important when you're manifesting or magic making, is being super detailed oriented. I don't have a tub in my bathroom, and I love tubs.
Oh,
that was the one missing element that I did not daydream about.
Yep. Yeah, specificity
is very important.
Oh, so critical. You say that so well. Yeah, critical.
And also, too, what really makes it so much more powerful is the emotion that you assign to it. What are you feeling with this house? Do you feel joy? Are you excited about it? Are you excited about swimming in the pool every day? Like, how does that feel? And those emotions make it even more tangible.
It brings the vibrations into alignment. There's a lot of debate still about a vibration, a positive, negative, higher vibrations, lower vibrations, or even a vibration of calm. The vibration of calm can bring it to awareness where there's not the frantic, right? Where you're managing a state of mental and emotional clarity that is aligned to your desired outcome. That's what brings it into you, right? It's when we can get that alignment. So yeah, having the experience, having the emotion, attaching the emotion, and then we could say willing that into the unconscious program,
right?
Where our consciousness is now attending to opportunity. It's signaling, hey, here is what you could have. Now you have to do something about it.
Right.
And I think that's oftentimes, like you said, the emotional intensity or the vibrational intensity changes the frequency of our current experience. Right?
And it also attracts everything that resonates at that frequency.
Absolutely.
Same with people. So when we are changing and shifting our frequency, and how would you describe what frequency is?
That's a good question. Frequency, and vibration, right? I think frequency is an indicator. It's the I'm trying to think the highs and lows of the wave of energy, the vibration, and then how often the highs and lows are hitting each other. So when you think about alignment to a frequency is, in my mind, I'm thinking I want to have the same frequency sending out as if I've achieved or brought that object into my world. So it wasn't the frequency of having the truck, but the frequency of searching for the truck, right? So as you explain it, the frequency of having the house versus the frequency of searching for the house.
Right. Or even already being in it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the frequency I kind of hear you putting out is you were already being in that house.
Right.
You're in the house. Then came the one aspect I could have manifested more clearly.
Right.
Right. And even those little things change our frequency.
Absolutely.
Right. Every little detail. So the more crystal clear we become in our mind, then allow the emotions for building on the clarity of that image we put in our mind, forcing that at the unconscious level to here's what I'm going for. And then going about our day, letting it go and being aware that opportunities will begin to manifest and form for us to be aware of.
And why is that so important to just like literally just let it go? To literally form that energetic connection and all of that we just discussed and then literally just letting it go. Why is that vital?
Well, if we think about the vibration, right? The emotional vibration. If I'm in the vibration of surge, chances are I'm simply pushing that away from me. Right. I'm looking for the non-existence of it because I'm searching so hard for it. Right. So like in our class, we talk about the want. When I want something, I notice the opportunities where I don't have it much more forcefully than the opportunities to achieve it or to attain. So that vibration, the moment we start to frantic search for something, we're showing a different vibration. We're sending out a different vibrational pattern that cannot align with what we're trying to draw to us. There's the magic, right? Maintaining the alignment of, I don't have to look for it, will show, it will manifest, and it will be my decision. That's when I have my exercise power of choice. Do I choose into this one, or do I continue for new opportunities? Is there a greater opportunity?
Right.
Oftentimes that can distract us. But hey, that's a story for another time.
Oh, let's do another one. Let's do another podcast on that. Distractions. So I find that the more limitless we are, the more potential we have in creating whatever the fuck we want in our lives. And I find that religion is very limiting because it tells us there's a right and wrong. And I have discovered in my self-practice that there is no such thing as right or wrong. And you just stated that. You're like, it's choices and which direction do you want to pivot to and acclimate to, and what do you want to draw into your life? It's just, it has nothing to do with right or wrong. Does this feel right for you? Is this something you want? Because what everyone else's judgments on it has no rhyme or reason to you and should have no merit at all.
Right. What we choose to hold as our belief formation, our value formation, our attitudes, we deploy those into our world. That brings about the greater, funny statement, the greater the good we're putting out into the universe from a natural standpoint, increase. So the more we're abundant, we're affecting increase for everyone, we're actually bringing about greater manifesting power. So yes, exercising on my beliefs, like religious structures, right? They say you should or shouldn't.
Right.
Well, the should or shouldn't is a frequency vibration that could affect our manifesting power.
Right. It limits. It's very limiting.
Very limiting. Just like upset emotions, right? And those upset emotions could be on any spectrum. It could be positive emotions just as much as negative emotions. Is it in alignment with the frequency of what I want to manifest?
Right.
That's the magic.
So it brings it more consciously. We are not here to follow this rat race where we get up, do this, do that, do this and that, go to sleep, repeat throughout our lives. Literally, this is making us conscious creators in our life. It's literally bringing to our awareness that we are unconsciously doing things where we could change it and shift it into consciously creating exactly how we want life to be and what we want it to be. And then it's, I guess, like you said, your choice to choose. Do you want to change this in your life?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and we think about, just like in our class, right? We talk about the unconscious mind is a servo mechanism to consciousness. It does not decide on direction, or it simply will move for opportunities. It will find what it is we desire. So it's very important that we're crystal clear. Our emotional vibrations are crystal clear. That's what brings that formation of a material manifestation into our awareness. So being very cognizant of that, being very thoughtful, and that's where we use our consciousness. Yeah, and too many times, like you say, we're in the pattern of, oh, I got to get up, I got to go do this, and then go to bed. And then we get into that repeat pattern, and then we find that this isn't the life I designed. This isn't the life I wanted. This isn't the life I expected. And yet we don't stop to go, time out. What if I changed everything now?
Right. And
begin to form the life I wanted in my mind's eye, and then get aligned to those emotional vibrations and frequencies so I could go and enjoy that. I mean, that would be the magnificent.
Yeah.
And there's nothing stopping any of us.
Correct.
Other than what we experience on a day-to-day basis without knowing we're just going with the flow. And it may not even be our flow.
Exactly. It's someone else's flow.
Somebody else's flow.
It's someone who told us, this is the prescription for a happy life. And you're like, but I'm not happy. And here's a really, really fabulous, simple practice that I think everyone could incorporate immediately is be conscious of what's in your awareness. If you are constantly talking about what you don't want in your life, guess what? You're still going to attract it in your life because you're putting the energy of what you don't want out there to come. And I learned this beautiful thing that when you make a powerful manifesting statement, you don't want. And I just did it. Yeah. Don't want. That's a good one. Not in it, right?
Right.
Because the not is, it negates it. Because that word that you put in the sentence that you want is going to be, you've created that magnetism and that attraction, and it comes to you. So people who are like for example, I hang out with a bunch of single girlfriends. Okay. And they're like, I don't want a guy like this. I don't want a guy like that. And I don't want a guy like this. And la 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 la. And I'm like, whoa, let's back this up. What do you want? Because you're going to attract those regardless. Like I had a friend that say, I don't want an alcoholic. Well, guess what? You're going to keep on getting alcoholics. Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. The more we focus on what we don't want, the more we experience it to just simply remind us this is what we don't want. Because the unconscious mind does not take things in negation, right? It takes everything as personal or relevant. So this is real. What I don't want, okay, I'll give that to you because you've given me no other option. It's like we tell the story about the cab, right? Getting in the cab, you arrive at an airport, you get in the cab, you're feeling hungry, you want some dinner, get in the cab and you say, hey, I want to go get dinner. I don't want to go to McDonald's. Cab driver's going to sit there and say, okay, so what do you want? Well, I just told you, I don't want to go to McDonald's. Well, what do we expect the cab driver to do at that point? I want it to take me somewhere. I want to go somewhere. Let's leave. We got to go get food. We don't give it direction.
Right.
How do we give that direction? So being able to speak, this is exactly what I want. That's our intention.
And
go.
Well, I was going to say too, one of my most favorite things also too that I learned in Neuro-Linguistic programming is how the unconscious mind operates only in the now. There is no past, future. There's only present. Right. And so understanding how our unconscious mind works, we are able to manipulate more on what we want. And so when we are consciously creating, we want to create it as if it's in the now.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Unconscious mind does not work in a time function. It organizes our memories. Now, we could get real controversial and say all memories, both past and future, are simply memories, and we can organize those to manifest the life we want.
Yeah.
There's magic.
Now that's some fucking magic.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa.
I felt a tinkle in my right knee. I'm just kidding.
That was me tickling.
Oh, that was you, Alan.
But if we think about that want for something or the not, In hypnosis, we call that the law of reverse effect, right? We're going to bring to our attention what we're not thinking about. Like the example, don't think of a blue tree. Immediately what draws up to our mind, because our unconscious brings it conscious, is the blue tree in order to reject it. Now think about how many times in our lives we'll meet somebody, we'll generate an opportunity, and then we unconsciously sabotage or reject it simply because we manifested it and now it needs to go away. And so people will say to me, I don't know why I'm self-sabotaging or sabotaging this event. It's because, well, is that what you really want? What's your wish? What's your desire? Have you formulated that into a crystal clear picture in your own mind to where you can actually feel the existence of it? And that, like I said, positive or negative, but you can feel the existence of it. And now put that into the unconscious mind as, okay, here's my target. Let's go. And then go about the day and notice what shows up and how quickly you notice opportunities.
Right. And meditation would be a really fabulous tool for this.
Magnificent tool for this.
And there's so many different ways to meditate. And accessing that trance-like state on your own. Because hypnosis is someone else literally helping you access it, but there are ways for us to access it ourselves.
Yeah, and if we think about hypnosis is a great process. It's a state in the body of deep relaxation and deepening those states of relaxation. Self-hypnosis is meditation, right? Being able to put ourselves in that state. There are lots of different, let's call them mechanisms, to get to that state. But the most naturally occurring for oneself, where you're doing it with just yourself and putting yourself in that deep state and being able to formulate and send an idea down to the unconscious levels, is a very powerful first stages of performing magic. And that takes time. It takes time. We're so indoctrinated with information, social media. We got so many distractions coming at us.
And so many limiting beliefs that are we're told that where it takes our power away.
Yes.
And I say it's time to reclaim that power, and magic is one of those vessels.
Yes. Yeah. No, 100%. Anything that distracts our ability to put our attention, that is really our power, right? When we talk about power, it's the power of focus and concentration. I think it was Charles Snell who really dialed in on concentration. What level of our concentration can we maintain when we're attending to opportunity? So we put out our intention. Now we need to attend to something. Can we do it in a very concentrated fashion? Meaning, I need to be able to reject anything that would create a vulnerability, which could be social media distractions, TV distractions, non-partners in relationships, knowing, I can visit with this person for 5 minutes and I know that this isn't a match for what I have in alignment, but do we allow the states of, let's say, lonely to interfere with our true connection?
Right.
I'll take a distraction over short-term pleasures over long-term joys.
Right.
I'll accept this distraction for a moment until I find what's in alignment. Well, the moment I accept the distraction, the unconscious mind goes, okay, done, check, on to the next thing. Now I have to reformulate and send that back out.
Right.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is. And this is the other thing that you talked about in class too. You talked about how our index finger is our magic wand.
Oh, yeah. There's your magic wand.
We do have a magic wand.
Poof. Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with the words and the spells, the spellings. We are making, casting spells on a daily basis, consciously or unconsciously. So listen to the words that come out of your mouth. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself in your head, because it starts here, that thought. And when it comes out, you have just casted a spell.
You've casted a spell.
And when you write it down, you are casting a spell.
It's the first stage in manifesting.
Yeah.
The moment you put it on paper, you've made it real. It's become a reality, even on paper, right? You're drawing it to you. Funny that's spell and drawing, which they point out in Real Magic in the book, but you're drawing it out, and then you're sending it
like a sigil. So that's another thing, a sigil.
They talk about that in the book. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
sigils are really fascinating, but in the past they've been evil, according to religion. But sigils are super powerful, and we see sigils everywhere.
No, brand. Think about brand. Think about marketing.
Yeah.
Right? If we were thinking about the Target brand, right? The Nike brand, Under Armour.
Right.
All of those are sigils in a way that is bringing awareness, right? It draws the awareness to the opportunity.
Right.
It just happens that it's their magic sent out into the world for everyone to see.
To drink their KoolAid.
Well, of course.
Yeah, so there are people out there who know what the fuck they're doing, and they're creating sigils, and we're just operating as a robot on a daily basis, not really realizing that we're drinking this KoolAid, these sigils that have so much power. So let's explain sigils a little bit more. So sigils is literally the act of manifesting. You're writing, you're putting intentions down. You're being super clear on exactly what you want this sigil to contain, the power of the sigil, correct? Is there anything else that I'm missing on it?
The sigils, well, I don't know if you're missing. It's forming a very clear idea of what you want in your mind, and then putting a symbol in some form or shape that is very specific to the vision that you've created in your mind that you're then sending out. So it doesn't have to be a full drawn out picture, let's say, of something, but the symbol that represents it to you, right? A combination of letters. It could be a relevant symbol that you're drawn to, right? You look at Egyptian signals or symbols. We look at Greek symbols.
Right.
The Chinese letter. Those are all symbols, right? That are associated with sounds that they formed a language with. All of our letters of the alphabet, all symbols. So anything that we formulate, we create. Runes are another great old
I've been having so much fun with that.
Yeah, runes are, they're a lot of fun. I enjoy those quite a bit. But we get that symbol, and that becomes the interpretation of what we have within our mind, and then we send that out into the unconscious, where the unconscious says, okay, I got it. Here's what this represents as an internal representation, which is the crystal clear vision that you've created of what you want. So your opportunities become manifest in the real world. And that's the spell.
So what do you do with the sigil? Then once we've literally imprinted the sigil, because basically what we're doing is we're imprinting it.
In the practices, for me, once I put it on paper and I send it out, I don't care about the paper.
Do you burn it? Do you throw it away?
You can burn it. I've had people burn it. I've had people roll it up, bury it upon completion. But until it's real, put it somewhere special.
I've done that.
I don't think it means where you have to put it. It can be special for you. Like everyone, individual, here's my special place. Oh, great, put it there. Because if it's your special place, you're attending to it unconsciously. You know that you put special things there. Put the special thing there.
What if you have lots of special places?
Find one. Concentrate on one.
Hopefully you'll find it again. That's what I do. I'm like, this is a special place. I'm like, shit. Months later, where did I put that?
Right? There you go. Where is it? It's that one thing. Oh, that's
I'll get out my dowsing rods.
There you go. Another form of magic.
Another form of magic. What are dowsing rods?
I don't know a lot about the dowsing rods other than the old practitioners. That's how they would identify water.
Right. And you can program it to identify other things as well.
I believe so. I do not have enough research. I've not done enough research. The practices of magic, and this is, of course, theory according to Allen, right? It's in the book of Allen. You can look it up. But those practices, I think, can become very interpretive from the individual. Right? Yes, there are suggestions. There are models of excellence in practice, and we could utilize those. But I think we got to also recognize that could be a limitation in how I want to practice my personal magic. I want to be the creator, because let's be honest, dowsing rods weren't dowsing rods until the first person did it.
Right.
Sigils weren't sigils until the first person did it.
And then said, this is what it does, and then defined it.
And then made it manifest. If we really break it down and look at those are all potential limitations to our own practice. Being aware that my individual magic is me and how I choose to practice it in whatever form, and I notice it works.
Right.
Right? And when something works, now I can repeat that process. And that becomes my individual magic. Now I can go share it and I can say, hey, everyone, you should do magic according to the Book of Allen. Well, maybe. And well, maybe not.
Right.
Right? Doesn't mean I shouldn't be practicing my magic every chance I get.
Right. We should be doing it every day.
Every day. We should be doing it we should have a practice, a ritual.
Every morning. Magic, my morning magic practice time. And I'm like, what am I crafting right now? Like, what am I crafting this morning? And I bring out my tarot deck. I sometimes do runes. Sometimes I will meditate. Sometimes I'll write. It's like channeled writing.
Right.
And or then I'm extremely intentional. Like, this is exactly what I want to draw and bring in. And so
that's the magic. Give yourself time to be intentional. You just said it so beautiful. Give yourself time to be intentional.
Yes, that quiet time without distraction, no screen time, no people. Nature, obviously, I feel like is a beautiful tool also to bring you closer to your divine and higher self and your true intention and purpose. And so, I find that when you are carving that out every day, and you will become so much more powerful than you could ever imagine.
Yes,
and power is not a bad thing.
No, matter of fact, we all have power, right? It's not that we have more or less. This is going to be a fun statement. It's not that we have more or less power. It's what are we empowering? Where am I putting my power? What direction of attention am I focusing that on? Where am I casting it out? Because that's what's returning back to me.
Right. It's like a boomerang. I call it a boomerang. You send it out and it'll come back.
It totally comes back. You just got to be ready to catch it.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to catch it in the head.
Ow! Oh my God, I forgot I threw that out there.
Exactly. But it's true, right? All electricity, we have positive and negative. That's just the direction. We got it going out and we got it coming back in. It's a circuit, right? It's circular. So our magic is the same thing. It's that power. We're putting it out there, and it's coming back. We have the ability to recognize, is this the direction I want to go, or is this not the direction? Because I can invert that. I can change the direction at any moment, at any time.
Yeah.
But it does mean that we are living in intentional. I know what direction that needs to be. I'm giving myself time, right? I'm in my present moment to go, I've designed my day. This is what my day is looking like. I've designed a week. This is what my week's got to look like. I've designed my month. This is what my month's got to look like. But what if I change my mind? Great redesign. When it's habit, right? When it's ritual. If I'm doing it every moment, I could be doing it on the hour.
Right.
I could be taking that 5-minute second, the one question, is what I'm doing right now in alignment with my greatest desires, my intentions.
Yeah, and even understanding what are your greatest desires. You ask someone and they can't even tell you what their greatest desires are.
We've been conditioned to think below our potentials.
Yes.
For sure.
And so all of these little practices definitely unlocks our potential and then opens up a greater plane of playing and creating and exploring and fucking fabulous things.
Oh, if we could expand our visual input channel where we're attending to all the opportunities that are coming into us, we have so much potential to get what we want. And it makes it so much more fascinating and enjoyable, right? It's just developing the skill to stop. And that, I say that in stop whatever it is you're doing. Just being able to go, stop, time out. What is it I really desire? Where am I living right now? What am I attending to? What am I noticing is happening? Is this really what I desire, or can I reevaluate? And let's get refocused.
Right.
And then put our concentration on what we want. And it is a challenge.
Right.
Right? So, this is a great example.
I love your examples.
The dating world. I was visiting with somebody one time, and they brought up the question, well, how do you know what you want unless you've dated a lot of people? I was like, well, that's a haphazard statement. Wouldn't it be much more effective to define what you want in beliefs and attitudes and values, and then allow your unconscious mind to draw that
and attract it.
And attract the end. Yeah, because now you're attracting that, let's call it a type. Even though I don't believe that type thing, it's all individual, but we're drawing the types that meet that intention I put out there. It changes the quality, caliber of the individual. I don't have to date everyone.
Right.
I have to date that one. Mm-hmm. And that is a different approach.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to go date to find out what I want out of what I don't. Mm-hmm. And now it's my don't experience will manifest exponentially. Mm-hmm. And then where's our focus?
Right.
On the don't.
And then it's so distracting.
Back. It's such a distraction.
Yeah, a huge distraction.
Rather than saying, here's what I really want.
Yeah.
And here's the contribution. What does that life look like? Not as a, here's what I get, right? Because it's the energy, right? Mm-hmm. Outflow, inflow. Here's what I'm getting. Here's what I'm giving. Are they equal?
Right. And that's
energy
how I see abundance. It's like a spiral. It's a balance of giving and receiving.
100%.
And this is where a lot of people, I see such amazing givers and they are unable to receive. And I see so many receivers who don't know how to give.
Oh, no, 100. Yeah, no, yeah, 100%.
And so it is, everything is a circular or spiral to it because what it is, and it has to all balance out, like magnetism, the positive and the negative.
Yes. We will receive and draw to us that which we can handle, right? Mm-hmm. We have capacity to deal with. The universe is not conspiring for our demise. It's conspiring for our advancement.
Right.
If I want to evolve and draw greater good, I have to consider, how can I be of greater good? Right? How can I expand the energy of that which I want to bring into me? Mm-hmm. That's a powerful statement. Because if we stop and think about it, it's like, I have to really fixate on my contribution. How do I bring value to my environments? How do I bring value to my people? How do I bring value to places so that I can then draw that same energy equal to the wishes and my desires as I enter those places or interact with those people. Mm-hmm. And that's a powerful statement when we stop to consider it.
And honestly, consciously deciding whether you want those places and those people in your life too is a huge shift and pivot in your life.
Tremendous pivot.
So being conscious of those energies that you allow to be in your presence is a really huge deal too, and understanding that energy.
Yeah, spot on.
Exchange.
Yep.
It's an energy exchange, just like
full
money.
Energy. Yeah. Any context, right? We can talk about relationships, talk about career or business, your health and wellness, your personal development, family relationships, like any context you want to apply it to. The concept of, can I bring the greatest good value in alignment to my greatest desire so that I'm aligned frequency-wise? Mm-hmm. And that way the vibration and frequency is always aligned to my desires. There's your manifestation. Right. That's magic.
And that's when the attraction, the law of attraction is initiated.
Yeah. And everyone describes when you're in that alignment and you're manifesting and you're experiencing those outcomes, and people call, well, life is just magical right now. That's great. When did you decide to apply your magic?
And when did you decide to see magic in your everyday life?
Oh, there's the beauty.
I know.
Now we get to the gratitude
That's when
and generosity.
Things get super exciting.
Goes to the whole nother level.
Yeah, because gratitude totally attracts that even on a further basis. Part of my practice is dearest universe, or whatever I want to preface it. I thank you for this and this and this and that in my life. And it hasn't even happened yet. And I'm like, thank you so much. I am in so much gratitude for these beautiful things that are in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll list it super clearly. And wow, that just adds even more power to the law of attraction.
That's the emotional alignment of the frequency. The moment we can feel that level of gratitude, that is the emotional alignment. There's your outcome. And it rapidly manifests the velocity, I guess is the word. The velocity from noticing an option to manifesting the outcome is increased exponentially through the alignment of that gratitude, and then the play it forward, right, to generosity. how do I take this point of gratitude and share it? Allow it to spill out onto everything and anything around me, whereby initiating the next magic, because magic is ongoing. It does not.
It's like
start
unfolding.
And stop. That's right.
You just start unfolding, and then it's like these. Is it like the multiverse? It just starts all of a sudden going bling, 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 and you see all these multiverses like existence, and you're like, what the fuck?
No,
where do I want to play next?
Exactly. No, which is
the next level.
Yeah.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
There you go. I like it.
Well, we are ending at our time, and that was 45 minutes, and that flew by. That felt like 5 minutes.
It went really fast.
It was really great.
Thank you for having me. That was awesome, Heather.
Thanks,
that was
Alan.
great.
I really appreciate it. I know that you have such a busy schedule, and so for you to carve this out and come means so much to me.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you. This was fun. I enjoyed it. We'll do this again.
So are you going to do one now?
I'm going to think about it. I haven't got a desire for it yet, but we're going to talk about it.
Because you are just an encyclopedia of all sorts of amazing things.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for listening to the I Drink the KoolAid podcast. Join us next time. If you'd like to participate in this discussion, get a hold of us at idrinkthekoolaidpodcast@gmail.com. Now let me ask you, what flavor of Kool-Aid are you drinking?
Has been a production from a podcast studio.